Welcome to the Man of Recaps. This is House of the Dragon, Episode 6. This episode begins with our biggest time jump yet. It is 10 years later, so Rhaenyra is now played by her older grown-up actress. And it's a joyous occasion as she gives birth to a beautiful baby boy, but it's immediately ruined because the Queen demands to see the baby immediately. And when the Queen says immediately, she means right now, not at your earliest convenience, so it's this exhausting long one-take scene as Rhaenyra, who just gave birth, is walking up all these steps to say hi to the Queen. Yes, in the last 10 years, Alicent Hightower has grown into a powerful queen, and her hatred for her former best friend Rhaenyra has just deepened. But she's not the ruler in King's Landing yet, because King Viserys is still alive. Yeah, last episode it seemed like he was in the process of dying, but he's just hung on for another decade. Now Rhaenyra has 2 other sons already, with her husband Laenor Velaryon. But remember, Laenor's gay, and Rhaenyra's close friends now with Sir Harwin Strong, new captain of the City Watch, and it's immediately apparent he's their real father. Now Harwin Strong so far has been a very minor character. His father is the new Hand of the King, Lionel Strong, but after Rhaenyra and Sir Criston Cole's bad breakup, it seems like she and Sir Harwin hit it off and now have a happy secret family together. Her husband Laenor's totally fine with it. They made the deal early on. We can love who we want. As for Criston Cole, he still harbors a huge grudge against Rhaenyra and has become new BFFs with the Queen Alicent, and he's generally become just like a huge douche. Now Alicent tries to tell the king, look, it's super obvious, all of your daughter's kids are bastards. But old man Viserys doesn't want to hear it. He's willfully turning a blind eye to it, because if he were to acknowledge it, the punishment would be severe. He would probably have to execute the whole family. Alicent's children have grown up too, with the classic Targaryen long white hair, and all the princes are hanging out together in the dragon pit. Yeah, we get to see a little bit of how to train your dragon. But the middle child, Aemond, doesn't have a dragon because there was no egg available when he was born. So his brother and cousins play a little prank on him, give him a pig with wings tied to it. He gets mad and goes down to hang with a real dragon, but these things are big and dangerous, so don't do that. Alicent's daughter is kind of a weird girl who really likes bugs. The oldest son, Aegon Targaryen, is a classic teenage doofus. His mom's like, yo man, don't play pranks on your brother with your cousins because remember, they're your enemies. She gives him the talk her father gave her last episode, like, look, she's gonna take the throne, they're gonna wanna kill you to secure their claim. And so it's been a quiet 10 years in King's Landing, everything's just a chill status quo. But now things get shaken up with an incident in the training yard. Sir Criston Cole is instructing the young princes, but Coach Harwin Strong's like, hey, you're ignoring the other ones. So they set up a duel that's wildly unfair. Criston's become such a dick, and he finally says it out loud, Sir Harwin, you treat those princes like they're your sons. So Harwin turns around and clocks this guy. Yeah, take that. But now Harwin's dad, Hand of the King Lionel Strong, calls him in like, son, you can't be doing that. This event's just gonna bring a lot of attention on the fact that Sir Harwin Strong super obviously is the prince's father. This is a dangerous time, so Rhaenyra makes her move to try to squash this beef with Alicent. She's like, hey girl, we used to be best friends, and I feel bad that our families aren't close anymore. Let's change that, keep the inbreeding going. We'll marry my son, who's still officially the heir to the throne, to your daughter, and we'll all rule together, one big happy Targaryen family. But Alicent's having none of that. She doesn't want to squash the beef. In these last 10 years, she's turned into just like a real mean person. Now let's check in on everyone's favorite outcast uncle, Daemon Targaryen, who's flying on dragon. And he's flying around with another dragon rider, yes, Laena Velaryon. They did get married, and they're flying around doing dragon rider stunts. Sweet. They're over in Pentos across the Narrow Sea, where they're basically on permanent vacation. The ruler here is like, hey man, instead of doing dragon stunts, do you want to use your dragons in our war? I'll make you a lord here. You know, you can be a Pentos guy. And Daemon's leaning yes. He's like, yeah, I'm done with the whole Targaryen Westeros politics thing. We'll make a nice life here. But his wife Laena is like, hey, Pentos has been fun to vacation, but I don't want to live here. Like, Westeros is my home. But tragedy strikes as Laena's giving birth to their 3rd child right now, and it's not going well. But Laena Velaryon's not going out like that. We've barely gotten to know her, but she's like, hey, I'd rather die a dragon rider's death. So she goes out to her dragon and she's like, hey man, Dracarys me. So Daemon and his 2 daughters are heartbroken. What are they gonna do next? So back in King's Landing, the Hand, Lionel Strong, comes to the king like, hey man, I gotta resign. With the rumors about my son, it's better if I'm just not involved, we'll go home. But King Viserys is like, hey man, ignore those rumors. You're a good Hand of the King and my friend, you gotta stay. They agree though that Harwin Strong should go home, so he says goodbye to Rhaenyra and his sons and see you later. And now Rhaenyra goes to her husband Laenor like, hey, I thought we should stay and fight, but I think it's time we bail. She's taken her family to Dragonstone before this cold war with Alicent turns into a hot war. And things are heating up right now because Alicent has a dinner meeting with Harwin Strong's brother, Larys Strong, who it seems has become her unofficial spy master. She's like, yo, this is so unfair. He fired my dad as Hand of the King for being biased towards his grandson, but now your dad he forces to stay as Hand of the King even though he's gonna be biased for his grandsons. Larys is like, maybe I can help. He goes down to the dungeons and he's had a cane made with his own sigil, a beetle, much like Littlefinger, remember, who made his own mockingbird. He finds some prisoners sentenced to death and he's like, how would you guys like a pardon? Now the Strong's castle, by the way, is Harrenhal, which you might remember from Game of Thrones. His dad's coming with just to escort his brother home, but Larys's men are watching too. And that night a fire breaks out. Oh no, the doors are locked. There's no windows in a castle. You can't get out. And oh man, Larys Strong just assassinated his father and brother. He's like, hey queen, I took care of the problem for you. Now you can get your father, Otto Hightower, reinstated his hand. But she's like, whoa man, I didn't want you to murder anyone. And he's like, well, I did, and I did it for you, so you owe me one. And so after 10 quiet years, the board is now set for a massive conflict. What will the rest of the season hold? Find out next time on House of the Dragon. If you liked this recap, hit that subscribe button for more of the best recaps of TV and movies.